everyone, it's Francie Millan here. I'm currently at Westlake Plastic Surgery with the amazing Dr. Caridi, and we're doing this really cool interview to give you guys a little insight about who he is and how he started his practice. So my number one question for you is tell us a little bit about your upbringing and what led you into plastic surgery.
Ooh, that's a good question.
We gotta start it hot.
Wow. Okay, born and raised in Brooklyn, 1959. Grew up in a pretty cool, loving family. There was 5 of us. Went to public schools. Eventually ended up going to the university up in New York, and then transferring to the University of Texas in 1979.
Oh, wow.
Drove down here, drove to San Antonio, got in a Department of Motor Vehicles place, got a license, a driver's license. Went into the University of Texas in Austin, applied for school, got into school, and because I had a driver's license, I was also a resident. How weird is that? That's not the way it is nowadays. You got to work here and be a long time and all that kind of stuff. So from there, finished school here in 2 years, and went on to the University of Texas Medical School at Houston. And from there, went back to New York and did my residency and fellowship in plastic surgery at Mount Sinai Hospital. And that was 7 years. And then somewhere in there I got married, and then I moved to Chicago, lived there for 8 years. And then in 2000 came to Austin.
Oh, dang. And what made you realize, I want to go into plastic? Like, plastic surgery is going to be my home.
Well, it's funny. I originally was slated to go into general surgery. So guts and all that kind of stuff. And I remember that in the school that I was training at, there were what we call clusters, where it's a bunch of operating rooms in a one area. So all the residents would sit around and, in the middle of them, and people would go in and out of the rooms depending on what was going on. And I remember the room next to us was a plastic surgical room. And, out of curiosity, I would go into their room and saw the stuff that they were doing. And I said, man, that's really cool. A lot cooler than what I was doing in general surgery. And I was lucky enough to be friendly and fun. They got to know me. And then lo and behold, an opportunity arose to join them. And it was a little bit of a fiasco because my boss didn't want me to leave, but he relented and said, okay, you can go. And so that was it. I transitioned to plastic surgery and did a 7-year stint totally, and graduated with my new career.
Now, what inspired Westlake? What made you want to, create your own practice? And
when we moved here, we wanted to be in a neighborhood that had great schools. And so we came to Austin, and we kind of looked around and thought that the Eaton School District was a good school district, and that'd be a great place to raise my family. And so this office space that you're in right now was available, which was really strange. It's a story in and of itself. So it just said, well, what name do you want to give it? And I just said Westlake Plastic Surgery. And that's how it started.
Well, that's awesome. Now, can you tell our followers and the people watching a little bit about, what are the things that you love to do? I know rhinoplasties is one. I'm modeling one now.
She's living proof, by the way.
I'm gonna model mine. Give it a little second. But what is your favorite, surgeries to do in plastic?
Okay, so I've been doing this for over 40 years, which is hard to believe. Hopefully, it's hard to believe, but I've been doing this for a really long time. In the old days, I used to do everything, but nowadays, I sort of pick and choose what I want to do. So I tend to migrate towards, on the female side, I like to do noses, and I like to do complicated breasts, which basically means breast revision, and not just the ordinary breast, but something more complicated that is more interesting at my level.
And more life-changing.
Oh, totally life-changing. So I like to fix what's broken. I like to fix what wasn't done correctly the first time. I like to make people feel whole. The ladies feel whole after they're not feeling it, you know what I mean? And I love noses. Noses are just like this little tinkering that I do that's a game changer.
No, it really, really is.
Yeah. As she knows, that's a game changer. So you take a nose that, as we said, your nose was fine to begin with, but then you do little elegant changes, and now suddenly it's like, wow, that's elegant, that's a work of art, and it makes a beautiful woman even more beautiful.
No, I agree, and I'm so grateful for my nose. I love it, and every time I wake up, it's like, it's a Francie nose. That's what I like to say. It wasn't something that was changed. It was just something that was refined.
Yeah, it's still her, and she's still drop dead gorgeous. It's just a little bit better, that's all.
Oh.
But it makes you feel good, and to me, it's just a passion, and people are so happy.
Yeah.
And then when we take the splint off at 5 days, it's like Christmas.
No,
you know,
it really
it's like, okay, we're taking it off, but in her case, she'll tell you about her case where she actually you got it off without us, but the point is, once you take that off, it's like, holy moly, and there's the new you. And then I also have another thing that I did, which was the Austin Gynecomastia Center, which is man boobs, basically. And I'm considered one of the top authorities in the world on that.
Now, I want you to touch base a little bit about that, because, women's beauty to us is so important, but we need to give some love to our men, too. We need to show our love.
Shout out to the men. That's I appreciate that.
No, you got it.
That's amazing, because, it's like, so I have this kind of yin and yang in my practice. I have the men who have man breasts, or what we call gynecomastia. And what I learned about 20 years ago is it's not cool. No man wants breasts. We value females with breasts, not men. So what I realize is that it tears them down, and it saps their confidence, and they don't take their shirts off, they don't go to the beach, they have interpersonal relationships that are entirely stressed, and once you fix them up, total liberation. So to me, it's a game changer that as a man, I could sort of relate to men much more personally on that level, and they feel confident that they can do it. I mean, I'm considered one of the world's authorities on that, which is really super cool.
There, you guys got it, especially for men. Don't be afraid. It's okay. Dr. Caridi will help you fix that insecurity and make you feel more confident, and next time you can wear, not a t-shirt when you go to the beach.
No.
Now, I have another really important question. I think a lot of them will like to know this. What makes Westlake plastic surgery stand out from your competitors?
Ooh, good question. Well, from my perspective, I've been doing this for a really long time. And when people challenge me and they say to me, like, really, what makes you separate? I'm a force of a personality, first of all. And I'm not sort of like the average person that goes around and tells people what they want to hear. And I'm into the latest gadgets and all that stuff. My primacy is all about treating people with respect and taking care of them. And that means telling them that things can be done or things can't be done. Or you're a good candidate or you're not a good candidate. Or this works and that doesn't work. I've always stretched this whole safety thing. I've always stretched natural results, just like you. Natural, most people wouldn't even know. It's almost what we call stealth surgery. Doing surgery that someone really can't tell that you had surgery done. And so I think my safety record is unparalleled. I mean, I tell people I've never been sued. I've been doing this for 42 years and never once been sued. And I challenge people to really think about that, because that's a big deal. That's something I'm super proud of. I've never transferred anyone to a hospital. I've never had mishaps that happen more often than you think. And I take great pride in that. I take great pride in my team, and I take great pride in treating my people with the respect and dignity that they deserve, and also with that sort of mature, balanced, what would I do if you were my family member kind of thing. And I'm not soliciting people, and I think it's a breath of fresh air in this sort of environment where it can get a little like the wild, wild west. You can trust me.
No, absolutely. And I mean, if they would like to check, they can go into all the reviews. Everything's positive. I haven't seen not one negative review. And me being, one of your former patients and meeting all the patients, they always say nothing but great things. And I really think that stems from your honesty. You're a very, very honest person. But you touched base on something so important that I want to point out, and as you said, you have a big personality. So can you share with us something people are very surprised to learn about you?
Oh. I think that the funny thing that I get with a lot of people is when I talk to them, they'll say to me like, I appreciate your honesty. And I always find that perplexing. It's like, wait a second, I'm a physician. I mean, am I not supposed to be honest? but I just think it's a reflection of how many others that they'll visit with, and you could just tell they're really not that honest, and they're just not upfront. I'm transparent, and I have a lot of personality in the sense that I like to have. I like what I do, and I have fun. I mean, that's why I add that. I'm not nervous about what I do. I do a lot of it, so I'm really kind of handy at doing it. And I like to engage my patients, and I like to have some fun with them, and I like to, learn a little bit about them and what they bring to the equation and all that kind of stuff. I'm different.
Yeah, you like to make them feel at home.
Yeah, well, feel at home and feel that you're in trusted hands, and trust that, you're trusting me with your life, essentially.
Yes.
So this isn't like it's like buying a Coke can, or it doesn't work that way. This is surgery. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And what I try to bring to the equation is that you can trust that I'm going to do a good job. I mean, and you can trust that you're safely going to go through this experience. You're not going to have any funk or ridiculous stuff. And you're going to get what we talked about, as opposed to like people who've had surgery and they're like, oh, I don't know what they did, but this is what I got, that kind of experience. And I have no problem saying no.
Yeah.
And no for good reason. That means you're not a good candidate, or you're not mature enough, or whatever. There's reasons to postpone surgery or really not to engage it at all.
No, absolutely. And I mean, that not only takes care of the patient that's coming in, but it takes care of you and your team. So I mean, that's very respectable. Now, in your personal life, I know personal life is personal, but what's one thing people don't know about you that you can share with us? I do know you have a Vespa.
I was going to say,
that you love.
I mean, so I have a Vespa. It's a red Vespa. I think it's super cool. I mean, everyone's telling me not to do it because it's dangerous, and I get all this stuff. I've taken care of people in motorcycle accidents, all this stuff. But we just use it in my neighborhood, and we have helmets, and I cruise around in it. I think it's just super fun. And I think another thing that people would know, I'm a farmer. I like dirt. I like trees.
There you go.
I like nature. And my idea of relaxation is going to my, I call it my farm, which is a little plot of land that I have with this little house that I've kind of done in the retro style. And I go out there and have campfires, and I put on my long johns, and I go out into the forest, and I trim trees and stuff like that. And I grill, and that's my peace of mind.
Now, do you have chickens?
No chickens.
I was about to say
we borrow the chicken eggs from the neighbor.
I was about to say you're a millionaire in this economy.
Yeah, $6 an egg, that kind of stuff.
Perfect. Now I have another question. What would you tell, surgeons that are pursuing a career in, plastics? What would you recommend them? What's been the key to your success?
Oh boy, that's a great question. I think you need to be truthful. I think you need to be confident. I think you need to be qualified. And I think you need to be genuine. And I think you should do something that others don't do. Focus in on something that makes you an expert. Because everybody sort of does everything, and you need to do something that is above and beyond. Like noses, for instance. Not a lot of plastic surgeons do noses, but if you can master them, it's a great thing to do. Not a lot of people do gynecomastia surgery, but I see people from all over the world, So do something that makes you a true master at what you do, and that'll serve you well throughout your life.
I love that. Whenever I was in my journey of looking for, someone that was going to be able to fulfill this beautiful nose, I wanted someone that specializes in it. And that's how I ran into it. And every time people tell me, how did you find your surgeon? I always say I look for someone that specializes in that. And if you're in Texas or in the United States, this is my nose, and we're only 5 months out, barely.
Is it 5 months?
Barely 5 months out, and I think you've done a fantastic job. Now, my last question, which is a very, very important question. What do you plan to leave behind? What would be your legacy?
Oh, that's a great question. Boy, look at you. This girl's loaded with great questions.
My other side job, I work for a TV station. So.
Oh, boy, yeah. You're loaded with great questions. Put me on the spot. My legacy. I would hope that I was a quality professional at what I did, that I helped an enormous amount of people in my community, that I raised the level of care, sort of set the bar a lot higher than, let's say, what it was before. And in particularly on the gynecomastia side, I've published papers that are a game changer. And I think these papers will be used for the next 100 years, actually. It's like everything in medicine is delayed. So even though I publish this paper and I do this work, I don't get the full recognition probably until like 20, 30 years away. I'm not even going to be here. So, but the point is my name will be on these papers, and my, the way people do something will be sort of the way I did it and taught them. And so to me, that's an everlasting legacy. And then I think the most important thing is that my two children, my two daughters, love their dad and respect him, and will think their dad's cool.
Yeah, they'll grow up knowing that they have an amazing influence. That
Well, that they had a good dad that was a good man. I mean, he was a good guy. One of those kind of things. And fresh air, a happy going. Fun to be around, someone who got things going, and I hope they think that.
I know that they will. I know that they will. And I know everybody watching here will be able to relate, especially if you had the opportunity to meet Dr. Caridi. Like you said, you are a big personality, the type of person that walks into a room and makes, the whole energy change. So I loved getting to know you, and I loved, having this experience, especially with the whole team, because we need to give a little bit of credit
to
the team.
My team is...
Dream team is...
It's the A team, for sure. I mean, I'm telling you, it's the A team. These people are awesome, and I think that has a lot to do with my own success. So it's really building a practice is not just me. It's the collective and the collective effort to do a really good job at what they do.
Absolutely. And I think what you mentioned about the papers, your research pretty much, it's going to be teaching surgeons, for years to come. So that is the best legacy.
That's a nice legacy, Yeah. The Dr. Caridi technique or something like that. But I think that I have helped probably tens of millions of men all over the world in that regard. So the broad sort of outreach to the world is just really super cool. So that's kind of a nice legacy. You want to leave the world a better place.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for interviewing with me. I can't wait to see a little bit of these clips go out, because I think they're going to be super, super cool. We're going to call this first episode of Talks with Caridi, hosted by me. But thank you so much, and I can't wait to write my article. Kevin's been recording the whole interview as well, memos.
Have you?
So I'll be listening at night, typing it all up, and then it'll be on Brand New Monthly Magazine next month.
Amazing. That was great. Great question.
I don't care what they say. This girl can interview, boy.